大家好，我叫李阳晨，今天我要包的是英文名著选。1. God save the Queen. British National Anthem. God save our gracious Queen. Long live our noble Queen. God save the Queen. Sing her victorious, happy and glorious. Long to reign over us. God save the Queen. O Lord God arise, scatter our enemies, and make them fall. Confound their naval checks, confuse their politics. On you our hopes we fix. God save the Queen. Not in this land alone, but be God's mercies known, from shore to shore. Long may the nation see, that men shall brothers be, and form one family, the wide world o'er. From every little foe, from the assassin's blow, God save the Queen. All her land on me stand, for Britain's defend, all moral prince and friend, God save the Queen. Let Jesus kiss his door, on her be pleased to pour. Long may she reign. May she defend our laws, and ever give us cause to sing what had their voice. God save the Queen. 2. The Star-Spangled Banner. USA 那些人 by Francis Scott Key. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hear our terrors that screaming? For watch dressed in bright stars, through perilous spread. Or ramparts we watched, what so gallantly streaming, and the rockets would glare, the bomb bursting air, get through night, the flare was still there. Or say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave, or land of the free and a home of the brave? Our sure dimly seen their miserable, when the foes hungry host dangerous silence reporters, wise like which the breeze over the tyrant steep, as the 50 blows, none conceals, none discloses, none captured the gleam on the morning first beam, in full glory reflected, now shines on the stream. This is the Star-Spangled Banner, or long may wave, or land of the free and a home of the brave. And where is that band, whose abundant is war, and the havoc of war, and battle's confusion? A home and country shall leave us no more. The bed has wiped out, the our first revolution, no river crusade, highly and slave. Frontier frets were a gloom on the grave, and the Star-Spangled Banner enchants the wave, or a land of the free and a home of the brave. Oh, lost be devil, when freemen shall stand between their lost homes and the worst destination. But with victory and peace, may the heavenless give a land, praise the power that hath made and pursued this nation. Then conquer we must, for our call it is just. And this be our motto, in God is our trust, and the Star-Spangled Banner forever shall wave, or a land of the free and a home of the brave. 3. A power musician, Mr. Grayson Long. It is said now that some occasion, King had a timidity to appeal his music, or a double pole, in the church regard or a lyre to a child's skill. The channel was seated, and surrounds the mountain god, virtuous umpire. The singer took his seat, and cleared the way the trees from ears to listen. I given a signal, preamble on his harps, and with his drastic melody, gave great satisfaction to himself. In his field of our matters, who happened to be present. Then tomorrow sending shield to the sun god, and all his chiefs and with him. Our Lord is far away with nothing no, while his global tear purple swept the ground. In his right hand he held light, while his right hand struck the streams. Tomorrow at once a word of victory to their God, and all by mightiest outcast in judgment. He descended, and gradually the judges of their world, our power apparently transformed his depraved years into not nice. King Midas tried to hide his misfortune under the evil trouble, but the children found it too much for his discretion to keep such a secret. He took hold in the ground, and stooping down whispered the story and cut it up. But the bird swing out of the window, began whispering the story, and I continued to do so from that day to this, every time I breathe, first over the press. 4. The sun god and sunflower, Mr. Grayson Long. Quite he was a wilderness, and I was Apollo, who made her long return, so she pined away, sitting all day long upon the cruel ground, where her unbound tresses streaming over her shoulders. And then she said, and tasted near fruit no drink. Her own tears and she took her only fruit. She gazed and sang when he rose. And he passed through his daily course to his ending. She saw no other object. Her face turned constantly on him. At last, they say, her limbs stood in the ground. Her face became a flower. Her stance on his stand so as always to pay the sun that is daily course. For every time that is then, the thing unnamed from whom is born. 5. Unjusted by Plato. But in reality, justice was such as we were describing, being concerned, however, not with the outward man, but with the inward, which is the true self and concern of man. For judgment does not permit the civil elements of thinking, to interfere with one another, or any of them, to do the work of others, he says in order, his own life, and his own master, and his own honor and peace of himself. And when it has bound together the three principles of thinking, which may be compared to the higher, lower, and middle of scale, and intermediate intervals. When it has bound all this together, it is no longer many, but has become one entirely temperate and perfectly adjusted nature. Then he proceeds to act, if he attracts, whether in a matter of property, or in the treatment of the body, or in some of the parties of family business. Always thinking and calling that which pursues and cooperates with this harmonious condition, just and good action, and that which resides over it, wisdom, and that which at any time impairs this condition, she will call unjust action, any opinion which resides over it, ignorance. 6. On self-discipline by Aristotle. Virtue then is of two kinds, intellectual and moral. Intellectual virtue springs from and grows from teaching, and therefore needs experience in time. Moral virtues combine habits, lies in us nearby nature, they depend nature, while we are furnished by nature with the capacity for receiving them, and we devote them to habits. These virtues were acquired by first exercising them, as in the case of the arts. Whatever we learn to do, we learn by actually doing it. Men come to be builders, for instance, by building, and hoppers by playing the hop. In the same way, by doing just acts, we come to be just. By doing self-controlled acts, we come to be self-controlled, and by doing brave acts, we become brave. How we are the relation with other people, whether just or unjust. How we face dangerous situations, either accustoming ourselves to feel confidence, Mr. Spell accordingly. Occasions of last and anger are similar. Some people become self-controlled and patient for their conduct in such situations, and others uncontrolled and passionate. In war, then, activity produces similar dispositions. Therefore, we must give a certain character to activities. In short, the habit we form from childhood make no small difference, but rather they make all the difference. Moral virtue is a mean that lies between two vices, one excess and other deficiency, and it ends a hidden mean both inference and actions. So it has to be good, for surely it has in each instant to find the mean. Just as difficult to find the center of a circle. It is easy to get angry or to spend money. Anyone can do that, but to act the right way to the right person in due proportion, at the right time for the right reason, and in the right manner, it is not easy, and not anyone can do it. Sympathy and Friendship by Aristotle. As the more the friendship differ in kind, so do respect difference and friendship. Species of friendship are 3, and are equal to the object 7. Since there are each, there may be mutual friendship, mutually known. Now they who have friendship for one another desire one another's good according to the model of their friendship. Accordingly, they whose model usually had no friendship for one another really, but only so far some good arise to them from one another, and then whose model is pressure. And in that case, I mean, I have friendship for mere easy pleasantry. Not because they are of human character, but because they are present to themselves. Such friendships are of course very liable to dissolution, as the parties not continue like. I mean that the other cease to have any friendship for them when they are no longer possible or useful. That then is perfect friendship, where it subsists between those who are good and whose similarity consists in their goodness. For these men which all are good in similar ways, insofar as they are good and good they are in themselves. And those are especially friends who wish good to their friends for their sakes, because they feel large toward them on account and none of the mere moral result. So the friendship between these men continued to subsist so long as their good and goodness widow has inapproachable appearance. Rare these probable friendships of this kind will be, because none of this kind are real. Besides, all requisite the qualification being presupposed, this will require time and intimacy. For, as the proverb says, men cannot know one another till they have eaten the local quality or so together, nor can they invite one another to intimacy. Much less be friends still has appeared to the other, and been proved to be fit are just a friendship. They who speedily commence in interchange of friendly actions may be said to wish to be friends, but they are not so unless they are also proper objects of friendship. And mutually know to be such, that is to say, a desire for friendship may arise quickly, but not friendship itself. 8. Or Study by Francis Bacon. Study serves for delight, for ornament, and for beauty. Their chief use for delight is in prevalence and tiring, for ornament is in discourse, and for beauty is in the judgment and disposition of business. For experiment can execute and perhaps judge particulars, one by one, by general counsels, and then perhaps the matter of affairs come passports and honorary, reading more compliments already made, and ready and excitement. And therefore, if a man read little, he had have a great memory. He can confer little, he had have a person wit. And he read little, he had much cunning. To seem to know he does not. History is made men wise, sports witty. The mathematics settle, natural philosophy, deep, moral, grave, logic considered, able to contend. Avia studia in morals. Nay, there is no stone impediment in a wit, but may be brought up by this studies, like as a suitable body may have appropriate exercises. What is good for stone and brains, shady for lungs and breast, to know walking for the stomach, reading for the head or neck. 9. Spring, Bowen Shakespeare. When this is pine the berries blue, and then they smoke souls over white, and cuckoo was a yellow hue, to paint the windows with delight. The cuckoo lang on every tree, not merriment, frost and sea, cuckoo, cuckoo over the field and prison to Meridale. When shepherds found on jars, and many nights of promised cracks, when turtle treading lost in doors, and mittens reached their summer marks. The cuckoo land on every tree, Max Marion, frost and sea, cuckoo, cuckoo over the field and prison to Meridale. 10. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by William Shakespeare. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, creeps in its 50 paces from day to day. The last syllable, recorded time, and all our yesterdays already froze, away to dusty death, all our brief candle, left for a walking shadow, or poor prayer, left just its face out upon the stage, and may turn no more. It is a till by idiots, for the sound and fear itself are nothing. 11. To be or not to be by William Shakespeare. To be or not to be, that is a question. What is not in our mind to suffer sins and errors of our religious fortune, or to take alms against their troubles, and by opposing and to die to sleep. No more embarrassing to say when the heart and 1,000 natural shadow flashes ill to his consummation devoured to be wished, to die to sleep, perchance to dream, or irreversible. For less sleep or death or dreams may come, when we are shoved out this mortal coil. Must give us porous, dearer respect, the less currently of so known life. For who will bear with the groans of time, their pressure strong, the permanence continue. The parents despise love, the lost delay, the needs and the offers, and the spurs and pressure meal of the unwarning takes. When he himself might his father's neck. With the bill barking, who was father's bill, to run as well under weary life, by a dead or something after death. The undiscovered country from which born, no trouble returns, possess of will, and makes us repair lost errors we have, then fly to others that we know not of. Those conscious thus make cowards of the soul, and thus in their hue resolution, is secretly though with the pure cast of thoughts, and enterprise the great future moment, will this regard their current and right, and this of new nation. 12. Virtue by George Herbert. Should day so cruel, so calm, so bright, the brighter of the earth and sky. The dew shall with light for the night, for thou must die. Sweet laurels will shield and grow brave, beneath the rise gaze of Pipes eye, lost in eminence grave, and thou must die. Sweet spring, full of sweet days and roses, our battles with compacted lie, my music shall she had you crosses, and all must die. Only us with them virtual soul, like season temper never gives, while the whole world tends to cold and cheerfully lives. 13. On goodwill by manual count. Nothing can possibly be considered or either out of it which can be called good without qualification, except goodwill, intelligence, wit, judgment, and the other talents of the mind, however they may be named, or courage, resolution, perseverance, or quality temperament. Undoubtedly good and desirable in many respects, but this gifts in nature may also become extremely bad and mischievous if the will were just to make use of them, and which therefore constitute political character. It is not good either than with the gifts of fortune, power, riches, honor, even health, and general well-being and contentment with one's condition with little happiness. It is by pride of a possession. If there is goodwill to create difference that is on the mind, and it is also to rectify the whole visible object and adapting to its end. The cycle being increased in the door with a single future of pure and goodwill, enjoying unbroken prosperity, can never give pleasure to an impartial, rational spectator. Thus, a goodwill appears to constitute an indispensable condition in well-being and happiness. A goodwill is good not because of what it performs or affects, not by honors for the attempts and proposed them, but simply by virtue of relation that is good in itself, and considered by itself is to be esteemed much higher than all that can be brought about by in favor of any inclination, nay, even a sum total of all inclinations. 14. A red rose by Robert Burns. All my love, like a red rose, nice newness born in June. All my love, little melody, that's really put in tune. A spell along my brainless, so deeply loved mine. Now lovely still, my dear, till the seas can dry. Till the seas can dry, my dear, and rocks spell with the sun. I will lovely still, my dear, what since the light shall wrong. And feel thee will my only love, and feel thee all the while. I will come again, my love, love what 10,000 miles. 15. The Declaration of Independence. When a course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to be so liberated of bands, one can neither than one another, and to assume moral parts of the earth, the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind require that nature declare the causes which impel into separation. For wholly true to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and to pursue the happiness, not to secure respect. Governments are instituted among men, joint or just powers for their concerns or govern. Now, however, any form of government because to justify its ends. It is the right of all people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government. There is foundation on such principle and organizing his power in such form, or to land shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed would dictate that governments long established should not be changed for life and drastic causes. Accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer. For evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the force to which they are accustomed. But one a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, a little desire to reduce them under absolute despotism. It is their right, it is their duty to thwart such governments, and to provide new guards for future security. Such has been the patient sufferers of these colonies and such is not a necessity, which can chance them to alter their former status of government. The history of thinking of burden, the history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all have endured object, these tyrants or another tyranny of these states, to prove this life be submitted to the candid world in every dangerous operations, by tradition, where just the most humble returns, all repeated petition, having ends only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is not known by every average may define a talent. Is unfit to be ruled over free people. 那好像本人我体验太奇妙而不的。While from time to time overtakes the legislature to extending unwarrantable jurisdiction over us, while reminding of the circumstances of our immigration somewhere here. We have appealed to the native justice and matrimonially, and we have conjured by a task of our common kindred to disavow the usurpations, but were invariably injured our nations in correspondence. There too have been death of our justice and consummally. We must therefore act in necessity against our separation, and hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace, friends. We therefore represent our nation in the United States of America, in the Congress, assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of war for gratitude of our intentions, do in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these United Colonies are, right, ought to be free and independent states. That they are observed for all religion, the British Crown, and all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is an ought to be totally dissolved and other free and independent states. That full proud to be war, conclude peace, compare the others, establish commerce, and to do all other arts and things which independent states may have right to. And for the support of this declaration, were firmly down under potential divided powers. We mutually pray to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. 16. She Walks in Beauty by George Gordon Byron. She walks in beauty like the nights, all clouded skies and starry skies, and all her beds are dark and bright, meeting her aspect and her eyes, thus mellow to let in the light, which heaven to godly day denies. One sure the more, one really less. Her hair impaled in never grace, or raised in every reverent trust. Also lightens all her face, without swearing to express how pure, how dear the dawning praise. And on thy cheek, and on thy brow, so soft, so crowned, yet eloquent, the smile of the wind, the taste that grow, but tell dancing goodness spent, a mild peaceful below, a heart for lost in innocence. 17. Farewell Just by George Washington. Friends and fellow citizens, the appeal for a new election of a citizen to America the executive government of the United States. Be not far distant, and I assure you right when you thou must be employed. In the humane a person who is to be quarreled with that important interest is appeal to me proper, especially as a man can do to a modest state expression of public voice. I shall not apprise you of a resolution I have formed. Decline being considered among our laws, whom choice it will be made. The basis of our political system, the right of the people. To alter the right of the people to make and to alter their constitution, the government. But a constitution which anti-states to change by its present and defining acts, our whole people is separately obligatory upon all, the very idea and the power and right of the people. To establish government presupposes the duty of any individual to obey the established government, avoid the disposition and habit with it to political prosperity, religion, and morality are indispensable supports. In vain would I maintain the trivial patriotism who should labor to serve these great perils of human happiness. This small class of human men and citizens, the mere politician, equally with the parishman, ought to respect and trust them. Although could not trust all recognition with private and public felicity, let it simply be asked, where also security for morality, for reputation, for right is a sensible obligation. Decidedly all individuals or investigation called justice. And others with caution endure the civilization and morality can be maintained while religion, whatever may be considered an influence of refined education, on minds of peculiar structure. Reason is spent on natural morality, can reveal the exclusion or irreplaceable. It is essential to the virtue of morality, the necessary spring of one government. The law is distinguished more or less for to every species of government. Who then is of a friend doing cannot will differ upon the attempt to change the foundation of fabric. promoting as the order of primary importance institution for joint division of knowledge. In proportion, other judge or government gives vote to public opinion. It is essential public opinion shall be lightning, observe good faith and justice to all nations, cultivate peace and harmony with all, religion and morality. Enjoy this conduct. In country that good policy does not equally enjoy it, it will be worthy of a free, uniting, and not distant period, a great nation to give to mankind the magnanimous and to noble example, of people always guided by an solid justice and benevolence. The great role accounted for us in notifying nation is extending our commercial relations to have with a little political connection as possible. So far, we have already formed engagement that then be fulfilled with perfect good faith. Here I stop. You have certain primary interests, which I have not a very long relation. Why? By interweaving of that name while you are part of entangled peace and prosperity, you intend also in European ambition, lawfulship, interest, humor, or caprice. Do you really need sense of mind association among conscious and intentional error? I know that too sensible or my defect, not to think it probable that I may have committed many errors. Whatever they may be, I firmly beseech your mind to avoid the very evils to which they intend. I shall also carry with me a hope that mankind will never cease to view them without dreams and left. After 45 years of my life, dedicated to serve 我将安排自由。The force incapabilities will be consigned to oblivion, as my sermon soon be to mention's arrest. Run is kindness in these and other things, and associated beneficent relatory, which are natural to man, who views it and never saw himself, and his perseverance for some duration. Anticipated with twisted expectation, I will treat in which I punish myself, to realize with our glory, those enjoyment of partaking in the life of our citizens, the benign influence of good laws under free government. The ever faithful object of my heart, and a happy reward as I trust, for mutual cares, labors, and dangers. 18. Ode to the Westwood by Percival Shelley. If I were death be down my despair, if I were sweet crown to fire with thee, a wave to pain, being a power and share, the impulse and strength, only let us feel and know all uncontrollable even. I was in my boyhood, and could be the comrade of light wonders of heaven. As then went out yet the sky speak. Scarce in the vision, I would ne'er have driven. A still with thee impaired in my soul, of me as a way or leave a cloud. I fall upon the throats and that I breathe, for heaven will all her chain and bond, want to let thee, that sweet and proud. Let me lie, if I the forest is. When I days are falling like a song, the tumult like mighty harmonies, whether from birth or did or tone. Sweet lowering sadness, be lost, be fierce. My spirit, be allow me impetuous one, dry my dear thoughts over in your worth, that will need to quicken on new birth. I am binding contagion or reverse, scattered, as my unextinguished heart. I shall send spoke my words among mankind. Be still my lips on unbroken earth, a troubled policy of wind, a warren can spring before or behind. 19. Ode to the Nightingale by John Keats. My heart is just enough burst pens, my soul a third hymnlet I have drunk, or empty sandal obligatory dreams. 1 minute passed, indeed the world sunk. It's not the envy or the happy lots, but being the happy in the heavenland, that dawn and when a giant of trees and some melodious parts, or beechen green and shadows numbers, seen as someone in forth of the ease. All for the vintage that have been cold long edge and deep their earth, tasting of flora and country green, that's our power song and sunburned mirth, all for a giggle for oneself, from through the bushful, she accompanied, with beaded bubbles wicked and bread, and purple stained mouth. Now magic, and leave the world unseen, and lead me fade away into a frost deep. Away, fade far away, he saw can't forget what our mother lives and never know. The winner, the preacher, and the friends. Here women sit and hear each other groan. For both issues the view that last grey hairs. When the sports pale and spread thin and dies. All but to think of full sorrow and the night despairs. For beauty cannot keep her lodger's eyes on the empire beyond tomorrow. Away, away, for frightfully, not cheered out by Barkers and his parts, but on the beard's winds of poverty. Lower though when brass and retires, already with thee, terrors the night. In happy and cream is on her throne. Crushed around by her studied face, but here there is no night. Silver from heaven in which the breeze is blown, the weather is good and money was in ways. I cannot see what flowers I may fit. Now was our insects, hands upon the bones, but in unknown darkness, gets its wit, or in the seasonal mountain towers, the gather thickets and the fruit tree wild, for Hathorn and the parched thorn and time, fat million violet clad in maize and wet maize over the child. The coming muscular, floating while the murmur shouted down on some days. Darkening I listened, and for many a time I had been having out with ease for death. Calling out Nancy near me with rhyme, to take in the air of a quiet breath. Now more than ever, since he lives to die, to sit upon the bed now with no pain, without pointing for I saw abroad in such as the sea. Still lost in, I had ears in bed, that had reckoned, become salt. That was not born for that immortal bird, no hungry generations chanted down, the voice I hear with passion that was heard, the ancient day, bamboo and crowd. I the sounds and song, and felt the past. Threads I had a roots when sick for home. She student as a Mary earning corn. As an upshining health, John magic Christmas opening on the phone. Appearances in variance for long. For long, the very word is like a bell. To talk me back from me to my soul self. A dude that Bessie cannot cheat so well, or she is meant to do deceiving else. Adieu, repentant and when face past the never meadows, over the still stream and the whole side, and all is beauty, and the next buried grace was a vision or waking dream. Find that music, tower classic. 20. I remember by Thomas Hood. I remember, the how I was born, bending the window with the sun, can peeping at her no, he never went to school, no matter all day, and now I often wish night, I bore my bath away. I remember, the roses red and white, the violets and lily cups, those flowers in the night, the dollars were noble built, and warm my brother sit, and now bird on his birthday, a treated me yet. I remember, why would you to spring, and daddy on my rushes fresh, the swirls on wind, my spirit flew in veils then, I is a happy now, and someone pulled for heartily cool, the fever on my brow. I remember, the first tree stuck and high, a little thing that center tops, or color sky in the sky. It was a chalky English, bounty no joy, the love of out from heaven, and then when I was bored. 21. Silence from the Portuguese. 14. By Elizabeth Beer Bombing. If thou must love me, let be for naught. Is that for a sake only? Do not say I love her for her smile, her way of speaking gently, for a trivial thought that falls in war with mine, and silly but a sensibility of such a day, for anything in yourself beloved, may be changed for thee, and also love. And be honest, so near love me for thy own dear pities what be my tricks dry. A creature might forget to be, who bore I come for wrong, and rules and not thereby, but love me for those that I ever love best of wrong, through eternity. 22. For some more life, by hungry, much more long for. Tell me nothing more for neighbors, life is bloody every dream, for us all like stand like tempers, and things are never unseen. Life is ill, life is honest, and the square is not a score. Does thou have to tell eternist, it's not spoken on the soul. Not only enjoyment, and also is our destined and our way, but rather is tomorrow, what is further in the day. All is long and Thomas freely, and our heart slows down in breath. Still, I remember just our building. Fear mutter through a breath, or word, but I feel the battle, before I could laugh. Bang like them dreaming cattle, be a hero in a strife. Just no future, how present, that the dead bad bird is dead. At that even present, how we think and God ahead. That's a great meaning, all remind us we can make our lives a blind, and the point leave behind us. Footprint on sense of time. Footprint across another, sailing all that sorrow of men. Out for wrong and shaped by borrow, seeing me shall then home again. There's then bad and doing, with a heart for any fate. Still tripping, still pursuing, learn to live and to wait. 23. Or just a good spur, by being hand again. 40 years ago, all fathers far forth on this continent or new nation can see the liberty and dedicated to a proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a West Civil War. Testing what that nation or any nation so considered and so degraded cannot endure. One our great battle for their war. War come to darken or portion I fear. Was the final resting place for those who here gave their lives that I mentioned my death. It is altogether freely and probable that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, different day who struggle here, has consecrated their full above all poor part to that of the tract. The world do not remember what we say here, but it cannot forget what I did here. It is for us living. Right we dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here who lost far some of their best. It is love for us we have dedicated to the great time remaining before us. Our families, honor that we has increased devotion to that cause for which they gave that full measure of devotion. We have high resolved that this day shall not have that in vain. This nation under God shall have new birth of freedom, and the government over people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. 24. A tale to cities, patrioticness. It was the better times, it was the worse times, it was the age of wisdom, it was the age of fierceness, it was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity, it was a season of light, it was a season of darkness, it was a spring of hope, it was a winter of despair, where everything before us, or nothing before us, we're all going straight to heaven, we're all going straight the airway. In short, the period was so far like the present period. The sun is noisy authorities. It seems that only is being deceived for good or for evil, not the 30 degree of person only. 25. I Die for Beauty by Aaron Dickerson. I died for beauty but was scarce, or just in the tomb. On one who died for just was then, in LJ noon. He questioned softly why I feared, for beauty I replied. And for children till one, he burned, he said, and so his kids went night, without between the news, until much at least our nymphs, and coming up and ends. 26. I Look Into My Grass by Thomas Hardy. I look into my grass, and view my wetting skin, and say, oh God, it came to pass. My eye has shrunken thin. Foreign eye understressed, my heart gone cold to me, cold lonely when my endless rest, with equanimity. But time to make me grieve, past stills that pass by, and shares the fragile remedies with throbbings of new tide. 27. Stray Birds by Robert Jonathan. Stray birds of summer come to my window to sing and fly away, and hear this order. O sharp songs, falling full there with a sigh. You also dance with metal stones, you also measure. If you dance with measure sun, you also measure stars. What languages I all see? The language of internal question. What language of the answer of sky? The language of internal silence. This song my heart through whispers to the world which is best love to you. They feel the shadows before them, who carry their lantern on your back. That is the perpetual surprise which is life. Its own warnings are no surprise to God. The bird which is the world cloud, the cloud which is the world bird. Do not bring your food because you have no appetite. The fish is watering in silence. The animal on your earth is noisy. The bird in the air is singing. The man having seen the silence on the sea, the noise of the earth, and the music of the air. God finds himself migrating. Life is given to us. We earn it by giving it. We can near to the bird when we are great in humanity. Tiny grass, your size is small, but it possesses the earth under your tread. He even flowers opposite bird and cries, the world, please do not fade. God grows warrior great kingdom, but never read the flowers. We read the world wrong and say that it diseases us. You are the bigger body on the lower sleeve. I am the small one, on the surface side, said the lake. Be still, my heart, these great trees are prayers. Do not linger to gather flowers to kill them, but walk on, for flowers will kill themselves, blooming all your way. 28. Appeal to America, from Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. In my opinion, the Indian struggle for freedom bears consequences not only upon India and English, but upon the whole world. It can tell one field of human rights. It represents one of the most ancient civilizations. We have traditions handed down for tens of thousands of years, some of which the establishment of the world remain intact. No doubt refugees at the time had the appeal to our civilization, as they had led on any other cultures and many institutions. If India dread the glory of her ancient past, she can only do so while she attains freedom. The reason for the struggle, having joined the attention of the war, I know does not lie affect all Indians. Are fighting for liberty, but they are fighting amidst the dollar virus for attaining the liberty. Our Nick, in the far future shows that are not guided by any other people, or whom we had any record amidst the dollar and our violence, not bloodshed, not diplomacy as one understands it nowadays. But they are purely and simply truth in our violence. No wonder that the attention of the world is dreaded toward this attempt to the successful Persian Revolution. Here too, Russians suffered in the manner of the brutes. They had wreaked vengeance upon those whom they had considered to be their enemies. We find in such industrial error, adopted by a great nation, men contain evil courage upon the so-called enemy. They have about this judgment and not dedicated to the name of God, and seek by resistance for the judgment of the enemy. We indeed have endeavored to reverse the process. We feel the law of God's creation is not the law that should guide the human race. The law is inconsistent with human dignity. I personally would wait, if need be, for ages, rather than seek to attain the freedom of my country through bad means. I feel in almost of my heart, after recall, its spirit is standing over unbroken period of course upon 35 years. The world is sick unto death of prosperity. The world is the way out. And I find myself would believe that perhaps will be a privilege of the ancient land of India to show the way to the hungry world. 29. Chinese and Western civilization contrasted by Bertrand Russell. There is a person in China, a close contact between our civilization and that which is named the Dynasty Empire. It is still a doubtful question whether this contact will breed a new civilization better for its parents, or whether it will make destroy another culture and replace it by another America. Contact between different civilizations have often in the past proved to be landmarks in human progress. Greeceland from Egypt, Rome from Greece, the Arabs from the Roman Empire, medieval Europe from the Arabs, and North Central from the Byzantines. In many of these cases, the pupils were born in a master. In the case of China, if we regard the Chinese as our pupils, this may be the case again. In fact, we have quite as much to learn from them as they from us. But it is for us chance about learning it. If I treat the Chinese as our pupils rather than vice versa, it is only because I feel we are unteachable. Western Europe and America have practically homogeneous life. We try to treat two three sources. 1. Quick culture. 2. Jewish religion and ethics. 3. Modern industrialism, which is now called moral science. We interpret the Old Testament in Galileo as representing these three elements, which remain singularly destacable down to the present day. For Jewish religion, literature and arts, philosophy, and biblical method. philosophy, empirical mathematics. Also, the more over portion of our social order, for just which I radical belief, or the fans call first, more verbal, or can see religion terms, and some of our naturalism. From science or from the industrialism, we drive power in the sense of power, the belief that we are God and may just be really out of mind and death. From scientific methods, which are also an empirical method, but which almost all the knowledge have required. These three elements, I think, account for most of our entirety. When I went to China, I want to teach. But at this day, I said, I thought that's what I should teach them. Or more what I had to learn from them. Or more Europeans who lived a long time in China, I felt the two not uncommon. But among those who stay short or who go only to make money. This is real because the Chinese that is that nothing we real value. Military powers in the Dutch enterprise. But also value waste of beauty. Or even a simple enjoyment of life. We found more these things in China, English desert and W West. I would be happy to live with nothing of value. I wish I could love China, in return for scientific knowledge, maybe for something of a large tolerance and contemplate the peace of mind. 30. The Ideal Democracy by Carl Bagot. All human institutions were told highly ideal forms still awaiting heaven, and when we don't need to be told that the art institutions conform bilaterally to this ideal counterparts, it would be possible then to divide democracy in terms of ideal or in terms of real form. To define it as government over people, by the people, for people. Also define it as government over people, by politicians, or whatever person group can give their interests taken care of. But as a historian, I am naturally disposed to reserve and remain language. My history of parties, my comment treatment to the world, are meaning that to say, we drive body for experience, and party for the aspirations of mankind. So regarded, and then democracy refers primarily to a formal government, and it has always been government by the many, as opposed to government by the one. Government by the people, as opposed to government by the tyrant, a dictator, or national monarch. This is more Germany or the world as men are commonly understood it. 31. The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in your route, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked downward as far as I could, to where it bent in other growth, then to the other or just as field, and happy by the benediction. Because I was grassing and once well, last by the passing there, how warm really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, and this no state have turned black. Oh, I came the first morning, yet knowing how well they sound to wait, I thought that if I should ever come back, I should be tenants with a sign. Some were edges and edges hence, two road deeper than where they die. I took the one I traveled by, now he's made all the difference. 32. Fahrenheit by Robert Frost. Some say the war was ending fire, some say ice. For by the taste of desire, I hold with love for fire. The devil had to tell twice. I think I know not the head to sell for distracted eyes. It's also good and would suffice. 33. Report Well for Dunkirk by Winston Churchill. I had myself through confidence that we all do their duty in nothing regarded, and if the bad arrangements are made as they are being made, we shall prove ourselves once again able to defend our island home, drive out the storm of war and all the military tyranny. if necessary for years, if necessary alone. At any rate, that is not what God is trying to do. That is a result of His Majesty's government, evidently. There is a war parliament, and the production pile and French Republic. Taken together in a cause any need, what defective detonated soil, aided each other like good comrades to an almost all their strength. People lost just a Europe, and many other states have fallen, or may fall into the global stubble, and all these others are brothers and Nazi rule. We shall not flag or fail, we shall go on to the end, we shall find friends, we shall find on the seas and oceans, we shall find with great confidence and great strength in the air. We shall defend our islands, where our cast may be. We shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in the fields and in the streets, we shall fight in the hills, we shall never surrender. Even if we try to believe, these islands or once Parliament or subjugated and starving, an empire beyond the seas armed and guided by British fleet, which carried on the struggle until it got a good time in the New World with all its horror might set forth to the rescue and elimination of the old. 34. I resolved to become a jungle doctor by Albert Schweitzer. On October 13, 1905, a Friday, I drank new journal baths in our down one of main parents. Due to our parents insight on most interior occurrences, telling them that at the beginning of autumn, I should examine still a medical student in order to go later on the Equatorial Africa as a doctor, the plan which I made now to bring the execution, have been on my mind for a long time. Having been conceived so long ago as my student days, which struck me as incomprehensible that I should not to lead such a happy life, while there are so many people around me, less than with care and suffering. In my school I have felt stood, but therefore got a breath of miserable home surrounding and some of my school fellows, and compare them with the utterly ideal conditions in which children are passing a good spot lived. What the ability, enjoy the happiness of being able to study, and able to produce and research in science and art. I could not help thinking continually of others, ordinary happiness, but the material circumstances of their health. Then one glorious summer morning, I sat with myself before I got up. And I would consider myself justified in living till I was 30 for science and art, in order to devote myself one time forward to the dresses of humanity. Many times already have I tried to start one meaning that him for me in the same of Jesus. Whosoever shall receive that for myself. I see what here the pictures and the formation transformation or national once again forms. The perpetual history on contrary exists as a solitary in in comparing with the utterly ideal conditions of your children are passionate or growth by life, while the ability to enjoy the happiness of being able to study and able to produce results and self and art. I could not help thinking continually of others for denied happiness by their material circumstances or their health. Then one brilliant summer morning, I said with myself before I got up that I would consider myself justified in living till I was 30 for science and art, in order to devote myself one time forward to the rest of humanity. Many times already have I tried to start one meaning that hidden for me in the saying of Jesus. Whosoever whose daily life shall lose it, and whosoever shall reside for my sin and the gospel shall save it. Now the end was found in addition to the outward and inward happiness. 35. Fall by Carl Simber. The fall comes on little cafe. It is looking over harbor and city on silent functions, and then moves on. 36. The Decline of the West by Oswald Spengler. I see impression an empty figment or one near history, we can only be carried out by training one's eyes to be overwhelming motivating on the facts. A drama or reminder of many cultures, each gene or tradition for soul origin, to which it remains strongly bound throughout its whole life cycle. Each thing is material, is mankind in its own image. Each having its own ideal, its own passions, its own life, when fearing its own death. Here and there occurs light movements, and not each eye has yet discovered. Here cultures, peoples, languages, tourists, gods, landscapes, movement. The author some past lessons, twists and leads, beliefs on ancient mankind. Each cultures has its own new possibilities of self-expression. That not even each eye has yet discovered. Here cultures, peoples, languages, truths, gods, landscapes, movement as in ordinary some past lessons, twists and leads, beliefs on ancient mankind. Each cultures has its own new possibilities of self-expression, or drash, rabbit, decay, and never return. There's not one sculpture, one painting, one math matters, one visit by many. Each is a different from others. Each new instruction and self-contained, just as sweet as a friends, as a material blossom of fruit, is special to have a growth in kind. Each culture, starting with the light essence, go over her sense for endless as a forest in the field. They belong to the friends and the armors, to a living nature of growth, and not to the nature of new. I see what history pictures and transformations and transformation of a natural watching game or game forms. The perpetual history, on the contrary, sees it as a solitary born industriously and unto himself one part up to another. This the inward and outward fulfillment, the finale in our even living culture, is the purport of all historic declines. The amongst them agricultural classical, which we know so well and fully, another decline, entirely comparable to the consideration, were occupied the first century of common millennium, but is still already several in around today, a decline in the West. Every culture passes through the age phase in a major domain. Each of the child, youth, manhood, and old age. 37. George MacArthur's Prayer for His Son, by Donald MacArthur. Spare me a son or Lord, for we shall not to know when he is weak, and brave enough to face himself when he is afraid. All will be proud and unvetted in our defeat, and humble and gentle in victory. Spare me a son whose wishes will not take the present deeds, a son who will know thee, and not to know himself is the foundation stone of knowledge. Give thee, my friend, let thee pass ease and comfort, but under just as spur difficulties and charge. Here he learned to stand up the storm. Here he learned compassion for those who feel. Here me a son whose heart will be clear, whose goal will be high, a son who will master himself before he is to master army. All will reach into the future and never forget the past. And after all these things are here, add but not for a sense of humor, so he may always be serious and never take himself too seriously. Gain his humanity, so he will always remember the simplicity of true greatness, the all-admire true wisdom, and minister true strength. Then his father would dare to whisper, and not in vain. Then 38. Fatal to See by Helen Keller. How was it possible I myself, therefore now through words and did nothing with your notes? I, who cannot see from hundreds of things to each of me through mere touch. I feel the delicate symmetry of a leaf. I pass my hand lovingly over the smooth skin of a leaf of birch, or the rushy bark of a pine. In the spring, I touch the branches of trees, hopefully in search of a bird, a first sign of working in nature after winter sleep. I feel a delightful, velvet touch of a flower, and discover a multiple convolution, and something of miracle of nature revealed to me. Occasionally, if I am very fortunate, I pass my hand gently on a small tree and feel the happy quiver of a body for a sound. I'm dehydrated to the cold waters of a boat right through my open fingers. To me, a large water of funniest or smudgy grass is more vulgar and most a joyous person look. to me, a page and the seasons, the 30-young indie drama. In action with dreams at my fingertips. I tend my heart myself through rolling to theory scenes. If I can get so much pleasure from your touch, how much more beauty must be of your bisides? Yet, those who have a superiority little, the paranormal current action which fills the world is taken for granted. It is human pride to appreciate little that which we have, and to long for that which we have not. But it is a great pity that little was the life. It gets a sad issues only as a mere convenience, rather than as it is an influenced life. 39. For Freedoms by Franklin D. Roosevelt. In the future days, we seek to make secure. We look forward to a world founded upon four essential human freedoms. The first is freedom of speech expression anywhere in the world. The second is freedom of any person who worships God in his own way, anywhere in the world. The third is freedom from wants, which changes in word terms. Means economic understanding was secured to every nation by having peace and for its inhabitants anywhere in the world. The fourth is freedom from fear, which translated in word terms means a worldwide reduction of armors to such a point and in such a flow of fashion that no nation will be in a position to grant another physical war against any neighbor anywhere in the world. There is no visual distant millennium. It is the developers for a kind of war are terrible in our own time and generation. That kind of war is the fairy tales or so-called New Order tyranny, where dictators seek to create world cultural bond, trying order world board, the great sensation, the more order. A good society ever the first scheme, or one demolition and four revolutions left without fear. Since the beginning of American history. Since the beginning of American history, we have been against change in a perpetual peaceful revolution. A revolution which rose our city, clearly adjusting himself to change conditions, without a concentration camp or a criminal in the ditch. The world order was with a collaboration of thin countries, working together in a free and civilized society. Each nation has been sincerely, their hands, their heads, and hearts were militaries of bring one woman. And its faces freed the honor guidance to God. Freedom is especially human rights everywhere. Also for a goal of struggle to gain the right of killing, also his unity of purpose. The high concept that can be known as a victory. 40. Children by Carter Gaban. And the woman who called a baby against them first said, "Speak to the children." And he said, "Your children are your children. There are sons and daughters, all alone for yourself. They come to you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet belong not to you. You and again your loves and your thoughts, but they are their own thoughts. And how their bodies, by their souls, for resource on in the tomorrow. But you cannot visit, not your evil dreams. You may judge me like them, but it not me like you. Far goes not backward, not till we yesterday. You are both with your children a living years the same force. The archer sees the mark upon the path from infants, and he bends with his might, that his arrows may go swing and fall. I will bend it in the urgent hand before guidance, for even that he knows his arrow and fly, so it's also the boss at the devil. 41. I believe by Einstein. 29 situation here upon earth, each of us converge a visit, not knowing why. Yet sometimes seeming to have a purpose. For sample data, however, there is one thing we do know. The man is her philosophical army, above all, flows upon whose smile and well-being. And our happiness depends, and also from the countless unknown thoughts we feel like commanded by abundant sympathy. Many times today, I realize how much my own ordinary life is built upon the levels of my performance, both living and death, and how everything I discern myself in order to defend return as much as I have received. My peace and mind often troubled. Our defenses that have brought to harmony for all our men. I do not believe we can have any freedom at all in a philosophical sense. for we are now not only under external compulsion but also by inner necessity. Showing our sin and making sure to do what he wants to do, but he cannot determine what he wants. His spirit is upon me, you, and always console me. One has witnessed a self-realized cultures. This conviction is a perpetual brilliant tolerance for its lower hours, to take ourselves all too seriously. It's mirror force in the human. To find the invariably or little one only distant, or mere one in general, seems to me, from a gentle point of view, to assure a body. And yet everyone holds an idea by which guide aspiration and judgment. The idea which are always shown before me and fill me with the joy of living, a goodness, beauty, and truth. Tomorrow, comfort, happiness has never appeared to me. Since the nearest on this basis would be sufficient only for the cattle, the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is all true and science, hidden the emotions and danger, can no longer pause to wonder, as I learn all it possesses, it says the cross. The insight into the mystery of life, coupled with fear and also in right religion. To know a watchable rules, it is meditating in sound and higher wisdom. A most real beauty with our faculties can cover its only a most real form. This knowledge, this experience, is the center of religiousness. Innocent and innocence only. Every dawn ignorance are devoted religious men. 42. 撩妹 let's see, by next Hemingway. Frank Goldman, Guardioman said he felt the road rushes of the earth on the Therapians and leaped forward against the threats that break the water. She began to roll all the harbor no doubt. There were other boats from the other beaches going out to sea, and the old man heard that they approached the oars. Even though he could not see them, none of whom would blow their hair. Then someone was speaking of a boat, for most of the boats were silence. All the boats were silent except for the oars. They split upon after they were out of the mountain or harbor, and each one headed for a party ocean, were hard to find fish. The old man knew he was going far out, and he left a small land behind, and rode out in the rain early mornings on the ocean. Now that the old man could feel morning coming, and he heard the trim himself, was finding fish in the water, and hitting was this and wind smelled out so wet in the darkness. He was very fond of very fresh, as they were the principal friends of the ocean. He was sorry for the birds, especially small delicate turtles. They were all fine looking, and almost terrifying, and he thought, the birds how harder than we do, except for our birds, and heavy drunk rats. Why did not make birds so delicate and fine, although sea swallows when the ocean can be so cruel? She is kind of irrefutable, but she can be so cruel, and comes so suddenly, and such birds that fly deep and hunting, whereas our south voices out too delicate for sea. 43. by Malcolm Mitchell. The sun went on the horizon, and the red world and the world of the world fell into pink. The sky burst slowly for hours to the dead blue green or rubber set. The unearthed rays of the raw twilight came stealthily down about her, shining dim and carried over the countryside, the red fields and the dark red road brought the major perker, and became plain brown earth. A cow rode in the pasture, the horses smooth and cows, still kindly with her overstood the advance, waiting to be driven to the stables and suburb. Leonard dashed out the thicket, the pasture quick, and did the air of scarlet, and gave a picture of human companionship. The stream had the tall pines of a river swamp, so one retreat in the sunshine, walked by against the pastel sky, and immeasurable rain by giants. High out the real water and fish, on the whole called the river, the tall pine trees of Will's home. Fading gradually into the dawn of the also morning, and only found all pinpoints of sunlight, so that heart will heal. The wound their voices of spring. In couple of spirit, all the morning smells a new proud earth, and all the first green thing pushed out to the air. Sunset is a new fair journey, with no miracles of scarlet. The beauty she said as casually as the air should be or she junk. for she had never consciously seen beauty in anything but women's faces, horses, soldiers, and table things. 幼儿学人had that of tears, one card across, but the measure required to disturb mind. She wrote his name so much, but even though she wrote that she wrote her mother's face under her land that period time. 44. Long scientific investigation by Wayne I.B. Beveridge. Albert Einstein distinguished three types of research workers: those who take outside become outwardly opportunity to exercise their particular talents, and who result in actually just exercise his powers. Those who got a means livelihood and could for circumstances may become successful businessmen, and are true delegates to a real but make a contribution knowledge, all the proportion to numbers. Some psychology considers best work. 以有形移动而不自理 and mental strain and irreversible pain, and the mental stimulant. Many poor men have suffered from psychological troubles and many difficulties. But forward for I never have forward. That ever quite to result. The sense elegance allows smaller rewards for his effort. For each being granted and just stand for his work, but great reward or thorough discovery. A man is entertained and one graduate hard as an offer. He views a community solution across the world inside fashion, not only fashion discovery, but certain research of generation. Not only fashion discovery, but certain research of generation can give us a very obvious separation. A principal people, you are one his life experience, enjoy scientific version, will never forget it. 45. Inaugural Address by John Kennedy. Even his my four citizens when in mind who read the final exercise all friend of our cause. Since the country founded, each generation of Americans have been summoned to give testimony to natural reality. The greatest young American to answer the call to serve us on the globe. Now the trembles was a second. Now called to be arms, the arms we need. Now called to be a battle, no battle we are. But called to be a burden or long tired struggle, yin and yang, rejoicing or pleasure in duration. A joy got come elements men, tyranny, poverty, disease, and war itself. Camouflage gets the element and grand globalize. Nonsense south, distant west, like a show more, for life for mankind. When you join and he joined earth. In a long history of the world, only of a generation having granted the world defending in its own national danger. I do not shrink from responsibility. I welcome it. I do not believe that any overbody strange presence or any other people or any other generation, the energy, the faith, the devotion will embrace towards the level, or our country, I want to serve it, or go for a country and the world. And some of my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for freedom of men. Finally, whether you are citizens of America or citizens of the world, ask about the same highest danger of gentle sacrifice what we ask of you. The great country only true reward, which history is the final judge of our deeds. Let us offer a dear land we love. Asking his best in his help, but knowing her nearness, God will maturely be our own. 46. A Theory of Justice by John Rowe. Just the virtue of institutions, or trust their sense of thoughts. A theory, however arrogant and economical, must be rejected or revised is untrue. Last law institution, no matter how rigid or arranged, must be abolished is the unjust. It is possible since the infallibility, but they are just that if we feel society of our whole can override. For that reason, justice just denied the loss of the son. It's made up by greater joy, but a greater culture by others. It does not allow that sacrifice important of few are always about large and overwhelming enjoyed by many. Therefore, in the society, the liberties of citizenship are taken as settled. The rights secure by justice are not subject to legal bargaining or correct social interests. The only thing that permits an argument knowing theory is a valid one. Analogously, unjust or tolerable. Only one is necessary to avoid and even greater injustice. Being both virtue or human activities, choosing justice and compromising, these propositions seem to express until conventional process of justice. No doubt they express too strongly. In any event, I would recall this contention on our intellect, on sound, and this song have committed forth. The reason is necessary to go through justice, the light of which Jewish social can interpret and assist. 47. I have a dream by Martin Luther King. I said to today, my friends, so it will already face the difficulties, so today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply to the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live all the true means of creed. We hold this truth without evidence, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and sons of former slave friends will be able to sit down together at tables of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even as a Mississippi, a desert says, sworn will heal of injustice, sworn will heal of justice. Sworn will heal of question will be transformed into words of full justice. I have a dream that my 4-year-old Georgia one day living in a nation when I will not be judged on account of the skin of our attention or the character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day Mama with its business races, but the government had its distributing award unification. In unification, one day running Alabama, the black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with the white boys and white girls. As is a birth, I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low, and rough places will be made plain, and cool places will be made straight, and the glory of the world shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see together. 58. Giant Living Seagull by Richard Bach. It was morning, and a new sun spoke of gold called the ripples of the sea. A rifle should openable train the water, and a wolf of butterfly fed the air. Till called the southern seagull canceled out the fire for winter food. It was another busy day beginning. But when Apollo Abansi and beyond bone show, Giant Living Seagull was present. 100 feet of his eye, his lower feet, near his feet. A gentle horror painful, heart-touching cut to his wing. The cold man would fly slowly, and out his long until the wind would whisper in his face, until the ocean stood up beneath him. He knew that in full concentration. Here his breath forced one single more inch of curve, then his feathered ruffle, his oar and fell. Seagulls had to know, no fortune was stored, though stored in the air is from the square in the center. But Giant Living Seagull, on the shore, changing his wing in a very hard curve, starting once more. Was no ordinary bird, must go no battle to learn morning super fight the fight. All the game from shore to full, no battle again. For this goal in a finding others by eating. Well, for most law, it is not finding others by eating. For its goal law, it is not eating others by fright. More than anything else, Giant Living Seagull loved to fly. This kind of thing he felt is not the way to make oneself power in other words. It was experienced with this man, a giant span whole days long, make a no longer bias experimenting. 29 years 1. Morning has spoken. Morning has spoken, like the first morning. Back blossoms spoken on the first bird. First for a scene, first for a morning, first for a scene, first for the world. See the rain new fall, sunlight for heaven. The first new fall on the first grass. First for a sweetener, always gone, spoil completeness will be past. Mine is a sunlight, mine is a morning, for a wrong light in some way. For with the leisure, for the same morning, God revelation, or new day. 2. Advice. Advice, advice. Every morning you greet me. Small and white, green and birds, you are happy to meet me. Brass and stone, may your permanent grow forever. Advice, advice, bless my home, land forever. 3. Sunrise, sunset. It is the little girl I carried. It is the little bird I parrot. I don't remember going older. What did I? When did she get to be a beauty? When did she go to be so tall? Wasn't that yesterday, when I was small? Sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset. 24 days. Sweeten all night to sunflowers. Blossoming if I regress. Sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset. Sweetly by the years. One sees funny another. Laying happiness in tears. What was the wisdom I gave them? How can I help to lead their way? Now they must learn for another, day by day. They look so natural together. Just that to know what shall be. It's not a kind of peace and still for me. 4. Silver is among the gold. Darling, I'm going old. Silver is among the gold. Sure upon my birthday, that will finish fast away. But my darling, you will be always referred to me. Yes, my darling, you will be always referred to me. When you hear silver bites, and your cheeks no longer bite, with the rose around me, I will kiss you this and say, oh my darling, my alone, you are never old grown. Yes, my darling, my alone, you are never old grown. 5. To serve with love. Those gold days, old time tears and budding years are gone by my mind. I only was on and on. But how do you send someone while taking you from crowns to view? Isn't easy, but I'll try. If you want the sky, I'd rather guard the sky and let the double soul 1,000 feet high to serve with love. The concept comes for causing book on the spokesman said, and I know that I live in my best friend. A friend to tell me where I found wrong. I mean, if I'm strong, like to learn. What can I give you in return? If you want the moon, I will drown and make the stars. But I will water you let me give my heart to serve with love. 谢谢大家。